Now in the ring are our beef clover buds, Tayton Flower, Ty Flower, Carson Hufford, and Emma Knobloch.
All right, well, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to the cattle show here this afternoon. I'm thrilled to be here. I was here this morning and sorted through the hogs, and that was a lot of fun working with the youth, and I'm just as excited to work with the kids this afternoon in the cattle show. And what a great way to start here for this beef show. Really, really a great place here in this Clover Bud program. This is the future of the project. It's always fun to see them come out with their helpers and what they're doing with their beef projects. So I went down and talked to each of them and visited with them about their animals. And some of it, of course, is pretty basic. I always love to ask them what their names are and what they've been doing to get ready for the fair. And all of them are definitely working hard and working on these projects and gaining enthusiasm. You know, and I've been really impressed. All four of them are dressed the part. They have the basic equipment. They've been getting good coaching from their helpers, whether it be parents or other 4-H'ers or family members. And that's the thing that's really exciting to see. So obviously it goes without saying one more time, it's your future, your project, and it's always thrilling for me to see these young people getting into it. And I made sure to encourage each of them that, you know, when they're done being in the Clover Bud, to continue, because I think all four of them are absolutely ready to take on a project of their own and come out here with the big kids and get showing and learn, and that's what it's all about. So my challenge and what I want everybody to do is keep encouraging these kids. Tell them what a good job they're doing and that these are important projects. I know this community here knows that well, and it's good to see these kids participating in agriculture and especially the beef project. So to start that off, to show them our support, give them a big round of applause for doing a great job.
Congratulations to our Clover Buds, Tayton Flower, Ty Flower, Carson Hufford, and Emma Knobloch. Next entering the ring will be our Prospect Heifer Calf class. First will be Bria Grimm, whose heifer weighs 442 pounds, Summer Erickson, whose heifer weighs 454 pounds, Lucy Feitenberger's heifer, who weighs 504 pounds, and Jackson Hilbrand's heifer, who weighs 725 pounds.
Nice place to start here as we get into our show with 4 individuals to start our prospect market beef prospect heifer class. And I think that there's some good individuals all the way in here, blue ribbon type of cattle in my mind. Obviously, you can see at the front end here, there's going to be some give and some take. We have some animals that are different breeds, different breed character, and different stages of development of where they're at. And as you start to break these things down, and as I like to evaluate prospect classes, I think the one that suits me the best here, that I'm comfortable with, is the young lady here in the striped shirt. Really a nicely made, nice balanced kind of a calf that's a little more moderate in its frame compared to the one behind it. There's no doubt about it. It gives up some weight today to the one behind it. But as I study this one and project it out as a prospect animal for next year, one that will be exhibited as a market type of an animal down the line, I think this one is really put together well to have a build for the long haul, still put some kind of muscle on. And as you feed and develop this one that way, I think there's just a lot of future in this one. And it's really that balance and how it ties together in that kind of extra, more moderate frame that just suits me well. It's been shown and presented quite nicely. No doubt the stout, powerful one is the one here in second. And performance and weight, she absolutely has it. This one is definitely thick muscled. It's got the muscle you'd see in a prospect class. Maybe just doesn't tie as sharply and neatly as the one in front of it. I project that this one, if it was going to be more of a prospect type animal, is going to have a sooner end point given the fact that she's bigger and heavier. But when you really study it, there's some good structure there. There's some good basics. Really, really thick muscled. Maybe just a little rounder and coarser, not as sharp as that class winner, but still a really nice individual. One that's similar to the one in front of it's the young lady's got here. Just an absolutely big top, big muscled kind of a heifer, and I appreciate that about her. You can see the expression that she's got over her loin, big, thick-ended from behind, but with all that muscle comes maybe some structure. She doesn't handle herself quite as comfortably and well as the ones in front of it. Maybe gets a little choppier and awkward in that stride because of all that muscle, but still kind of a good one there. Young lady, as I said, a nice heifer that ran into some tough competition in this class. This one's maybe just a little flatter in its muscle makeup, a little narrower and refiner in its bone. I think still some good pieces there in terms of practicality and some basics of just a good, complete beef animal. Just need to stouten up its feature in a prospect class to compete with those ones in front of it. But let's go ahead and give them a hand. That was a good way to start our beef show here today.
All exhibitors in this class received blue ribbons. Next up, we will have prospect steer calves, which includes Summer Erickson with her calf weighing 410 pounds.
Get into our next class here of just one individual the young lady has here, and you often hear judges say that it's too bad there's only one in this class because it could have definitely stood some more competition, and I genuinely mean that when you see one like this in this class. Another one that's presented extremely well, shown very well, and I like that about this particular project. He's really an attractive kind of a calf, gives you just a great sharp profile, really neat about head and neck, level and square out its top, big depth to its rib, which I like. Maybe not the heaviest structured, heaviest bone. Could maybe stouten it up in some places in a prospect class. You know, maybe just not as naturally wide-based and stout. But boy, you have to appreciate the side profile and some of the balance things and structure that this calf has. You like that about it. Let's give her a hand. That is a nice calf that she brought out here in front of us.
Receiving first place and a blue ribbon in our prospect steer calf is Summer Erickson. Next up, we will have our prospect bull calf class with Faith Nag exhibiting her bull calf weighing 736 pounds.
Prospect bull class here, and another just single entry. A young lady's got a nice project here. It's a growthy kind of a calf. I did ask her what's birth date's in January born, and that's about what I expected it to be. It's certainly gotten up and has some natural growth to it. It's got some size, length of body, extension. You have to appreciate all those things about it. You'd maybe soften it and expand it right in his forerib if you wanted to change some things on him, but still a good hard hoof on him, a good foundation at the ground in terms, I think, of feet and leg structure. Looks like one that'll stay together and be athletic down the line. It just needs to mature even more and maybe get some of that softness down its middle, but I think just a good kind of a single entry here in this class. Let's thank her for bringing this one out here to look at.
Receiving first in class and a blue ribbon is Faith Nang. Next, we will have our Prospect Dairy Beef Steer Calf class. First up, we have Haley Manthai with her calf weighing 404 pounds, Madison Manthai with her calf weighing 449 pounds, and Avery Moore with her calf weighing 421 pounds.
A friendly reminder that our beef show is live streamed today, and so if you have family or friends that are not able to tune in right now, you can find it on YouTube at Stevens County Fair Beef Show.
We have our Prospect Dairy Beef class here next, and 3 exhibitors that are doing an excellent job. And before I get into the comparisons of the cattle here, I just want to mention for a minute, if you'll indulge me a second, I work with the Minnesota Beef Council is my day job, and working on promoting beef on behalf of farmers and ranchers. And obviously this community knows well that these kind of cattle are a big part of our business and industry in Minnesota, and it's a growing business in industry, so it's just neat to see a class like this. I just wanted to point that out. I think it's good to see these kind of cattle get exhibited. Obviously they get raised and are part of our commercial cattle systems and play a huge part. So it's kind of fun to see these projects that these people are working with and what they've got. So with all that in mind, I'm still looking at the cattle in terms of some of the basics you want to see in a future prospect market animal. So we're evaluating for stoutness and muscle. We want to see what they've got on them right now and what I think they'll have down the line as you feed and develop them. And we know these cattle can change a lot with management and care. And we're also looking for some balance kind of things. What I mean by that is levelness atop. I still want to see a good structure and have some substance to them so they can put on some of that important weight and muscle and have a frame to do it. And so with all those things in mind, I think the young lady here scratching on her calf has the one that suits me the best. I think this calf is the winner in terms of that completeness and having some balance. And yet, as I compare him to the three in class, I think there's some muscle over his top. He's a big, thick-ended kind of a calf relative to the ones in this class. He's got that expression of muscle you want to see for this type of breed character, and again, it's got a little bone underneath him, but the right kind. I think just if fed right, managed right, this will be just a really nice kind of a beef animal for that young lady. Go ahead and pull him out. Another one a lot like him is the one coming next. Young lady's doing a good job with that one. She gave me some good looks to this one coming in second. Really free moving kind of a calf. Maybe just not quite as balanced and level right behind the shoulder as the one in front of it. Maybe not quite as expansive right there behind the shoulder, just in terms of having some muscle in top, but still big rumped, and you get behind it, and I like the expression it had in its quarter, so it's still a good kind of calf to go in second. Another blue ribbon kind of a calf coming in third that the young lady's just pulling in. And that one is probably like my class winner in terms of giving you some of that side profile. It's kind of an attractive calf as it ties from its head and neck into its top, gives you some good looks. That one just maybe isn't quite as stout in terms of just muscle, and as we're looking at these as prospect market animals, but I'd maybe like to see a little more stoutness and thickness, particularly when I get behind it. It wants to get a little narrow and just a little flatter, maybe not as high of a cutability calf in my estimation, but again, management and care can change a lot of that. Feed can change some of that, but I still think it's a great project she's doing a good job with. So let's give all three of them a hand for this project. It's a cool project to see.
Receiving first in that class was Madison Manthai, second Haley Manthai, and third Avery Moore. All exhibitors received blue ribbons. Next up, we will have our prospect dairy steer calves. First up is Shay Boone with her calf that weighs 465 pounds, and Abigail Boone with her calf that weighs 553 pounds. Following this class, we will be selecting champion prospect calves.
All right, as we move along in here to our prospect dairy calf class, we have purebred Holsteins here in this particular class, and this is the kind of class that gets me in trouble as a judge, because I asked these two young ladies, I had assumed it when I saw them, and I asked them if they were related, and they told me indeed they are sisters, and I have 3 daughters, and sometimes they're in a class with just 1 or 2 or 3 of my daughters, and sometimes one doesn't like it if the other one beats the other, but these two seem really pleasant, and I don't think they're going to get too upset with me. I asked them if we should do rock, paper, scissors to decide who wins, and they didn't really give me an answer, so they made me pick. But you both are doing a great job. Really a nice job presenting these calves. They are very nice. These are very nice dairy prospects. I really enjoyed judging dairy steers over the years, and my dad does some county fair judging, and we just love when we find some good dairy steers, and these two fit that bill extremely well. They just are really balanced, good, put together kind of calves. This one that this young lady's got that's going to win our class, boy, just what a really great profile. I mean, just level, strong frame to this kind of a steer. Got some natural muscle expression and shape. It's got just the foundation and the feet and legs to just really feed on this one, and I think he'd be an outstanding big dairy steer come next year. I just think a lot of this calf, he's just really put together well, and you've done a nice job bringing him out and presenting him. Same thing with you. Like I said, in your calf, I already said, is just put together extremely well. Maybe just not as stout muscled as the one in front of him. Maybe he wants to turn his front feet out a little more and not tie together quite as nice. But that's just being nitpicky, because I think the basics are there on him too, and you keep just developing him and let him grow and feed him right and let him go and shine as a dairy steer. I think that one's going to be awfully good too. So I mean this sincerely when I say it. These are 2 really nice prospects that they've done a nice job with. Let's give these sisters a round of applause. Those are good calves.
Receiving first in that class was Abigail Boone and second Shay Boone. Both received blue ribbons. Now we will be selecting our champion prospect calf. Now enter the ring from the prospect heifer calf class, Summer Erickson and Jackson Hillbrands. Oh, just first? Okay. And from the prospect steer calf class, Summer Erickson. From the prospect bull calf class, Faith Nag. From the prospect dairy beef steer calf class, Madison Manthai, and from the prospect dairy steer calf class, Abigail Boone. We got just a really nice set of 5 head of cattle out here for contention of our champion prospect. You know, and I'm not going to describe each one over again because you heard about it in class, but my comments would be on this that's neat to see is we've got, you know, obviously different goals and endpoints for these cattle, different breed characteristics in these cattle. But I hope you can see that, you know, what I like to select, I hope you can at least see a little bit of that no matter what their breed is and what they are. They've got some of those balance things and just overall structure and quality to them in all 5 of these.
you don't see any big holes in them structurally, and they've got just some good natural smoothness to them and development. I'm just really pleased to see. You don't always see that when you bring 5 things back, especially as you're comparing all these different, kind of types and end games. But with all that said, I'm just really impressed with the quality. And I knew coming to Stevens County, I grew up in Redwood County 4-H, and I have a lot of acquaintances and friends in this county, so I know it's a very good cattle area. That's why I was excited to come judge, and a great way to kick this off with these prospects. And so I'm going to go pick your champion is the way I'm going to do it, and then we'll bring in the second out of that particular class and evaluate that one for reserve. So while I do that and give the mic back, give these all these prospect exhibitors a hand for a nice show.
Receiving champion prospect calf is Summer Erickson. We will now have Jackson Hilbrands from that class come back. Receiving reserve champion prospect calf is Jackson Hilbrands. We'll take a brief break for photos and then begin our heifer show. We will now begin our heifer show. Entering the ring now is our breeding heifer spring calf class, starting with Mason Roloff with his calf born on 4/30/23, Easton Hufford with his calf born on 2/20/23, and Jackson Hilbrands with his calf born on 1/2/23.
Nice way to start our heifer show off, the breeding heifer show, with the spring calf class. We've got a wide range of birth dates in this class, and you can see that when you look at the cattle in terms of their stages of development. And I am never one to just pick the biggest one or the oldest one by any means, and that's not why the oldest one and stoutest one is winning. This young man's heifer that's winning out here is here because she puts the most good together. This one is for her stage of development and age is incredibly stout and just naturally big-bodied. The center part of her body is just really, really big. She's deep and uniform in her depths, got a lot of spring of rib. And yet you study her front end, she's really a neat-headed one that's got some extension to her neck and ties together well. You know, she's obviously, all these calves are probably their first or second time out, so she's still figuring out the show ring. And there are times she maybe just doesn't want to just show off perfectly for the young man, but when she collects herself, you can see all the good that is there. Just tremendous body volume and just future brood cow look with some show ring quality to go with it. You know, another one that's a lot like her in some ways, but is just a more moderate, younger package is the young man coming next. This too is a deep-bodied, big-rib, maternal-looking kind of a female that I see just future maternal cow look in her. She's not as stout, she's not as big baby boned as our class winner, but when the young man gets her set up and leads her around, she's really balanced. I think she's functional in her overall structure and how she gets out and reaches and goes, and just is a nice kind of a complete female. Maybe not kind of those bells and whistles and sharpness of the class winner, but certainly a solid one to sit here in second. Young man's got a red and white one that's going to round out the class. This calf is way at the end of April. If you think about it, the 4-H deadline's the 15th of May. This thing was barely 2 weeks old when he decided to show it, right? So it's young, and it's got a lot of future, though. I think the build is there. I think that, the structure is there. You just got to keep on this one. It's greener in its kind, a little younger, but I like the basics it has. It certainly is a blue ribbon kind of calf from my standpoint. I appreciate him getting this calf started. I think you just got to continue to develop this one, see where she goes, but she's got some potential as a breeding female. Let's give that class a round of applause. There's some nice ones in there.
Receiving first in that class was Jackson Hilbrands, second, Easton Hufford, and third, Mason Roloff, all receiving blues as well. We will now have our breeding heifer summer yearling class with Malachi Montana with his heifer born on 6/3/22 and Zachary Sleater with his heifer born on 5/5/22.
We get into our summer-born class here of our breeding heifer show, and the two young men are doing a nice job with their particular projects here. Again, some differences just as you look at their stage of development. Two heifers that are different in frame size, different in some extension, but the one that I like to use is the young man right here in front of me. This one is a little more moderate in its kind, but more importantly, this one is just a little better balanced, a little more functional in its overall skeleton and build. I prefer this one, the way this one just sets up like that on the ground, has some natural base width, really correct and true on its hoof shape, and they're all pointed straight forward. Good foundation to build from the ground up, and then you watch it, it maintains its levelness and really just gets out and moves and stays correct from its shoulder all the way back to its hip, and that's what I prefer. Interestingly, it's got a little swelling up on its front knee. I wonder if maybe it knocked it around a hay feeder trailer or something. But it doesn't affect it. It really actually moves well, but just has a little bit of that on the outside that I just happened to notice. But actually, I think her good skeleton is kind of helping her maintain through that, even though she's got a little puffiness on this side. really an extended one that's really long-necked and long-sided, and I appreciate about that about this one. This one's going to be a little bigger framed when she's all said and done. I think this one's a later maturing kind of female than the one that wins our class. If you like cattle that are a little more extended, a little framier with length, this one would be your kind. He's doing a really nice job showing her and giving me some good looks. I just want to fix this one right behind its shoulder. Doesn't tie well as well right in through its loin. Wants to get a little high. Wants to get a little coarse and awkward in its tail head, and then carrying that down to the ground. I just want to coordinate and make its hock just a little bit better as it gets out and travels. But again, really one you have to love for its length and extension. Let's give those two young men a hand. They did a good job.
Receiving first in that class was Malachi Montana, and second, Zachary Sleater. Also both receiving blue. Now entering the ring will be our breeding heifer junior yearling class, starting with Tyler Cronin, who has a birth date of 4/27/22. Jaslyn Hilbrand's heifer has a birth date of 4/15/22. Jalen Flowers' heifer with a birth date of 4/5/22. And Malachi Montana's heifer with a birth date of 3/30/22.
four nice individuals here, especially in the front of this class in our junior yearling class. Really excellent quality in both of these females, and I think there's a lot of good in both of them, and I think there's different ways you can go in both of them because there's just that word quality is in both of them, but yet there are some differences and advantages each of them have. But the one that's just the most fault-free, the most complete, the best balanced one with no holes in her, for me, is the young ladies that's going to win the class. More times than not, as I look at this one, she's so true in her structure. She's just really, really maternal in her overall look. I love her depth of body, her moderation of frame. She just ties together well and goes really good. Of course, there's never a perfect one. You could say that this one's not as sharp as her head and neck and as extended as the one behind her, you know, and I wouldn't disagree with that. There maybe be some other things you can find on a female like this, but when you really start to break this one down, just so true and honest about the way she's built and made, I just really like that one, and it suits me quite well. Presentation is really good on this one coming next, and as I said, she's the long neck, sharp-headed, really good-looking one that catches your eye. Like I said, let's go ahead and hang on, bud. We'll just talk about yours for a second. And again, the presentation is there. This one's just not as genuine as you study her down her top. She is extended, but she doesn't really want to tie that neck and the top side of her shoulder quite as nice. And then she kind of dips a little bit there. They groomed it out of her pretty nice. And then you got to fix her loin ever so slightly. Maybe not quite as naturally just stout muscle as you get down low as the one in front of her. Still plenty of muscle for a female at this stage of the game. Again, a lot of good in this one. I'm getting nitpicky, but I think two really good females. I just like the no holes kind of look in that one, but I appreciate what this one has too. Nice job to that young man. Young lady coming next, you have a really nice Hereford female, okay? You should be proud of your project. Very nice kind of a female. You just ran into two really tough ones here in this particular class. Because you study your heifer, she's built really good. She's structurally very good. She really gets out and is practical. She's just not nearly as far along and stout and just as powerful as both the heifers in front of her, but I appreciate the way she's been showing this one. You present her very well. You give me good looks of this one. I love the practicality and function in this particular female. A lot of future in her. In an all Hereford class, I think you're going to be very competitive. You just ran into a couple tough ones, but good job with yours. Okay, another Hereford appearing female coming out next. This one's a little further along in condition. I'd like to trim this one down, freshen her way up in her condition. Probably a little too much feed in this one. I'd like to maybe just get her toned way down in that regard. She does have some natural muscle. She's got some natural structure to her in terms of just flexibility, a hock, and getting out and going. Her feet are good for as much as condition as she has. We just need to freshen her up, trim her up. She's just a little too terminal in her look for me today, but still a nice kind of class of heifers. Let's give all them a hand. Really nice ones there at the front.
Receiving first place, Jaslyn Hilbrands. Second, Malachi Montana. Third, Jalen Flower. And fourth, Tyler Cronin, all receiving blue ribbons. Next, we will have another class of breeding heifer junior yearlings enter the ring, starting with Brady Cronin, whose heifer was born on 2/7/22, Cohen Mortenson's heifer with a birth date of 2/5/22, Kendall Evings' heifer with a birth date of 2/2/22, and Kendall Evings' heifer with a birth date of 2/1/22.
get into our next older class and our junior yearling class. And again, 4 individuals out here, differences in type and kind. You know, if there's a 4-H judging team that you need a class of 4, this would be kind of a fun one to evaluate because you have some differences, but some differences you can really dig into, and this could be kind of one of those fun educational classes. But what I see, I think the young man's heifer here, young man in the blue shirt with this white-faced heifer, I think she actually wins this class pretty handily, pretty logically for me. She's really complete when you start to study her relative to the heifers in this class. She's stout built, really a big-bodied one. Love her uniformity, of her depth. She really carries it nicely with some muscle from behind. You know, sure, is she as long-fronted as the one behind her and that? No, but I think just really solid, put together well. He's done a nice job presenting and showing that one. Differences, big differences in the next 2, and you can like each one for what they bring, and I think you could go either way. I did happen to find out as I was visiting about birth dates, the young lady owns both of these, and you know, that I elect to use the one she's showing because I think she's a little truer and better in her structure as she gets out in strides. I think she handles her hock and leg better than the one that's behind her here. Boy, she's as long-necked as anything we've seen. This one is really gets her neck put out there. I chatted with her and she told me as she went by, she's doing a good job presenting this one. This heifer is actually looking for love today as it goes, and my daughters have been there, we've been there. I told her to hang in there, that happens, but she's doing a nice job hanging with it, and there's a lot of good in this female, so good job to you. Her other heifer back here, this one is really stout muscled, stouter than the other heifer, big bodied, you got like that about her. I've been picking cattle like this with that much body, with that much muscle, but I went away from it on this one just because of the structure, as I said. I want to free this one as it moves with all that muscle and width, it just doesn't travel quite as nice. Rounding out the class is the Hereford pairing heifer. Again, one that's extra moderate in her frame. I think this one's pretty quick in her maturity pattern. And kind of like you heard me say in the last class, I just want to peel back a lot of condition on this one. This one needed maybe a little less grain and energy. I like the basics she has. She is moderate. She is level. I like the shape of her hock. We just got to trim the condition off of this one for her to compete higher. Okay, give them a hand on that one too. Nice class of exhibitors there.
Receiving first in that class was Cohen Mortensen. Second and third went to Kendall Evink, and fourth to Brady Cronin. Next, we will be choosing our champion breeding heifer. So from the breeding heifer spring calf class, Jackson Hillbrands. From the breeding heifer summer yearling class, Malachi Montana. From the breeding heifer junior yearling class, Jaslyn Hillbrands and Cohen Mortensen.
we bring our 4 back out here for contention for our champion female. And like I said in the prospect division, I think hopefully you can see at least some patterns of overall structural integrity and some of the build that I like in cattle. Cattle that have some just, natural look about them. I like these females to be maternal, have some depth of body, carry that depth all the way back, and just, put it together in an eye-appealing package, because after all, we are exhibiting them. And I think they all do this quite well. Compliment each of these exhibitors for their presentation and showmanship. That makes it fun as a judge when there's a good one there when it's walking, and then they do a good job of getting them set up and giving you as many good looks as they can. So that's always fun too. So it's been a really fun breeding heifer show. I'll do like I did in the prospects. I'll set the mic down and give it back to them so they can make their announcements. But while I do that, give this whole group a round of applause for bringing some good quality heifers. I'll go pick a champion, then reserve.
Receiving champion breeding heifer is Jaslyn Hillbrands. We will now bring back Malachi Montana with his breeding heifer junior yearling. Receiving reserve champion breeding heifer is Malachi Montana. We will take a short break for pictures again and then begin our cow-calf pairs. After our cow-calf pairs are finished in the ring, we will have our breeding portion of the State Fair lineup. So if you are older than 6th grade and eligible to go and you would like to, you need to be prepared to re-enter the ring.
Just a reminder, if you want to take advantage of all-you-can-drink milk, we are offering those wristbands, which are $5 at the general entry 4-H building. And then you can go ahead and pick up as much milk as you want at the 4-H food stand walk-up window. The proceeds go to help support our local 4-H program, and we just want to be able to help spread awareness to our local dairy farmers and agriculture in general. So if you want to get an all-you-can-drink milk wristband, you can purchase one at the general entry 4-H building today. Thank you.
I'll take it. Oh. If she'll let you go touch your tail, just go touch your tail real quick. We'll see what happens. Stay right there. Don't move. Don't move. We're going to touch her tail and see if she'll drop her tail down.
Now we will begin our cow-calf pairs, starting with Jackson Hillbrands with his cow's birthday 3/25/2021, and Faith Niggs' cow with a birthday of 4/26/2017. Just a reminder that after this cow-calf pair class, we will be doing the breeding portion of our state fair lineup. So if you are eligible and would like to be offered a trip, you should be prepared to come back into the ring.
Move into our cow-calf pair show, and two really nice cow-calf pairs. Really impressed with the quality of both these pairs, these young exhibitors. are doing a great job, and I sincerely mean that in both of these. I think these are outstanding kind of pairs that can take a lot of competition. This particular pair of the right in front of me is going to win here, and I think it's just an outstanding pair. A tremendous amount of quality in both of these individuals, you know, and just a really a great build to this cow. Extra moderation in her frame, but it just really awesome structure to her. Gets out and goes. She's just a 2-year-old. She's one that's not going to be a very big cow, but stoutness and body and rib, you can see she's projected that onto her calf. That calf is really wide, has that same kind of structure that her dam has, and just really pleasing when you study that one, particularly in her levelness and function and just maternal look. So I think just an excellent pair to start off this show, just very competitive there. Love this 6-year-old cow that the young lady's got. Man, she's up-headed, attractive. She comes in there just holding her head nice and high, gives you a great look. And if they keep walking, if they fight you, go ahead. I know they kind of want to go. But a great 6-year-old cow, neat udder on her, January calf, really growthy. Another pair that I just am really impressed with just the overall quality. That cow has projected some good things onto that calf. Let's give those exhibitors a hand as they exit. These cows can be a little pushy, so really good ones there in that class.
Receiving first in class and champion cow-calf pair, Jackson Hillbrands. Second in class and reserve champion cow-calf pair, Faith Nag.
Yes, and then you can run and go get footer. Yeah.
Get them all set up. Power's going out of there. Power's going out of there. Getting better every time he gets out there, yeah. Riley, pull your calf up right next to the cow. Justice, you have to pull it back out, baby. See, Riley, go ahead and like 2 steps forward. Oh, shit, cow.
step. He's right next to her, right? Can you push his foot back?
Right there, perfect. Same thing. Riley, you stretch out and face. Okay, over. Okay, girl.
Erica.
We will now begin the breeding portion of our State Fair lineup. Next class is our crossbred dairy steers with Allie Staples with her steer weighing 1320.
Single entry here in this class to kick off this market show, and the young lady has got a dairy beef cross. And if you were here before when I was talking in the prospect calves, you heard me talk about the dairy beef cross and what a good and important cross it is to our Minnesota beef industry. And you know, there's obviously a lot of them in this area, in this part of the state, and that's good to see them come out and exhibit as a 4-H project. And I think this young lady's got a nice one. He does a lot of things you want to see in a market steer. I don't think this one's to his end point, as I study his natural indicators for condition right in through his chest and elsewhere. He's putting some on, but I think there's room there yet to maybe go a little further. But he's weighing in the 1320s, I believe she said. As I handle him, he's putting that condition down his top. But to go with that, even more importantly, I like the expression of muscle he has down his top. As I handle him, you can feel some muscle there. You get behind him, he's expressive in his quarter, which you like to see. And he's doing it actually in a pretty balanced package for what he is and where he's at in his weight. So I think a nice dairy cross steer in this particular class. Let's give this young lady for feeding and developing a nice kind of a steer.
Receiving first in class and champion dairy steer, Allie Staples. Next, we will start with our market steers class. First, we have Grace Mortensen with her steer weighing 1020, and Gabrielle Juice with her steer weighing 1198.
Just push my leg back. Try to push my back leg back. Now try to pull that other one out just a little. Your back, bring it up. So when you do that, pull forward on your halter as you're trying to bring his foot up. And I know it's hard because he's so long. You kind of push forward on his halter while you're trying to pull that leg up, and that'll help. Hit it. He's not.
These young ladies have some nice steers here as we get into this market steer class, and both steers that are not to their end point yet, and they have some room to continue to grow and put on some condition and finish out, really, is where they're at. And I will admit that the one that's maybe a little lighter of the two is the class winner I'm using here with this black and white steer. But he is definitely the best steer and the most complete steer and the things I'm looking for in a market animal. He's naturally wide-based. He's big-topped and got the muscle you want to see in a market animal. Get behind him, he's thick-ended. He's not going to be one of those big 13 or high 1,400-pound steers because he's just naturally more moderate in his type and kind. I don't think he's going to get to that point, but I think what is there is just so good and has show ring presence and still has muscle relative to his size. I think for this class, he's the best one just to surface for being the combination steer. I'll admit this one is getting close. I think she said just short of 1,200 pounds. It's on its way to growing. You can see the expression of muscle this one has. Appears to be a high cutability kind of a steer as you study him. Thick-ended, big top, big hip. I appreciate those things. Need just a little more condition. Need this one to just be a little more, I guess, easier fleshing in his overall look. I'd like to see him a little softer back in through that flank and just a little more condition from forward to rear. But you have to appreciate the expressiveness and just pure dimension that steer shows. Let's give those two young ladies a hand. Those were nice calves for me to look at.
Receiving first in that class is Grace Mortensen and second to Gabrielle Jose. Both received blue ribbons. Next, we will have Malachi Montana entering the ring with his steer weighing 1,200, Ella Anderson with her steer weighing 1,210, Riley Matson with her steer weighing 1,250, and Faith Nag with her steer weighing 1,280. We would also like to congratulate Riley Matson on receiving reserve champion rate of gain with a rate of 3.1 pounds per day.
All right, we have 4 nice steers here in this particular class, and these exhibitors are doing a nice job. And differences in type and kind in here, differences in color, and kind of a fun class to evaluate. And there is some give and take, no doubt about it. There's not a perfect one in here, but I think the one that suits me the best is the young lady here with this this kind of cream caramel colored roan calf. He's the naturally wide-based, stout, powerful one of the class. That's where he has the advantage. He is just really, really wide, big ribbed, has some natural turn to his top, natural shape up high, big, thick-ended. She does a nice job showing him and presenting him. I'll be the first to admit as we start to talk about structure in these market animals, you could change some things in this steer's pastern and ankle down at the ground. He could handle himself a little more comfortably. And I will say the one behind him has the advantage in that particular regard. But he just had so much dimension and power and still pulled it together nice. I just couldn't deny him to win this particular class. Congratulations to her. The young man coming out next is has the Bronco face one. Really put together, as I already said. Structure's really good on this one. I like the way this steer travels. I like the way that this one puts himself together in terms of just some profile. He just is not as nearly as powerful or stout as that steer in front of him. He just gets overpowered in terms of muscle and shape and just overall presence, but still a good kind of a calf as you break him down. Not a lot of holes in him, just needed more of him to compete with that steer in front of him. A steer coming next that's more like our class winner, I'll admit, is a bigger outlined and longer bodied, kind of a shorthorn appearing type steer, mane, shorthorn, something like that. But a steer that has really got some nice things about him. There's also some things that I definitely want to change in terms of structure. He's long-sided, and he is a decently big rib steer. Just want to see some more condition for where he's at in his overall size. He's a steer too that maybe a little bit of his balance gets thrown off. He's a little extra full today. Those things happen. Maybe doesn't have that balance to maintain himself as well as the steer in front of him. That's why I kind of edged him out and he lands in third, but still a good kind of a calf. Where he wins over the steer that's coming out next, he does win in just terms of functionality and getting out and striding. This caramel-colored calf coming out, rounding out the class. Yes, he does have some expression of muscle. Yes, he has got some shape when you look at him from behind, but he just gets awfully tight in his heart. He gets awfully tight in his overall makeup, a little up in his top. I just need to just make this steer more comfortable on the standstill and move to get him to surface higher. But still 4 pretty nice steers there in that particular class. Let's give them a hand as well.
Receiving first in that class was Faith Nag, second, Malachi Montana, third, Riley Matson, and fourth, Ella Anderson. Next, we will have Zachary Sleater with his steer weighing 1352, Gianna Feichenberger's steer weighing 1420, and Gabby Joseph's steer weighing 1470. We would now like to congratulate our grand champion rate of gain, Gianna Feichenberger, with a rate of 3.52 pounds per day.
We got a trio of steers in this particular class, and this young man, I'll just be honest and quite frank, he wins this class really handily. I really like a lot about this steer that he's got here. Just a lot of good things. Just a wide-based, naturally wide-based one. I love that just the circumference of foot that this steer sets down for foundation, and then from there on up, he maintains some of that dimension. I like his depth of body. He's a muscular steer. You know, there's never a perfect one out there. You always maybe find a couple of crossbred type steers that might be a little thicker topped and bigger hipped. But I just think of tying everything together with some show ring presence, having some stoutness of feature, and just maintaining a great look. This steer suits me quite well. Good job to that young man. He's shown him and presented him extremely well. Young lady's got a really stout black one coming out next. Incredibly wide-based and big-boned as well. Muscular, love the muscle in the steers that this young lady's brought out. You got to appreciate that. With that comes a little bit of more coarseness. This one's a little coarser shouldered than the one in front of it. This one maybe doesn't handle that structure quite as well as our class winner, but still has a lot of things that you do like to see. Really expressive, really muscular. She's doing a nice job showing him. Maybe a little more condition on this one too, but still I think one that sits in second for its muscle and its overall show ring look. Young lady coming out next. This one maybe doesn't have the hair coat, doesn't have the big stout hip and pizzazz that the ones in front of it does. But hey, young lady, you're champion rate of gain. Congratulations on that. That's important stuff too, and we like to see that. You're feeding that steer nice. He's got some condition where you want to see it. He's getting up and growing. You're doing a good job growing a steer that's efficient and putting on muscle and condition. Is going to be just a great carcass, and I bet a good eating kind of steer when we're all done. So good job to you on that. Let's give that whole class a hand.
Receiving first in that class was Zachary Sleater, second, Gabrielle Jose, and third, Gianna Feichenberger. We will now have our champion market beef. So we will have Grace Mortensen, Faith Nag, and Zachary Sleater. Grace Mortensen's steer weighs 1020. Faith Nag's steer weighs 1280, and Zachary Sleater's steer weighs 1352.
we get our three class winners out here in contention for this champion steer lineup, I think we have three really nice individuals and exhibitors that are doing a good job. And they're bringing out here cattle that are made to exhibit, right? These are show stock. These aren't going to look like the steers that we see in our feedlots and commercial systems. We know that. That's true in our sheep and hog and even dairy classes for the most part. But you have to still appreciate a lot of the things that these things bring to the table in terms of natural muscle, having some conditioning and still doing it with eye appeal and correctness. And these exhibitors should be commended for the work they put in, because it takes a lot to get these cattle fed and developed right, to have this eye appeal for me to come out and evaluate, to showcase in front of the public, and still be fed in a way that they've got some of that condition and muscle. So I'm very pleased with all three of these exhibitors and the job they've put in, and I think these are three really good animals. You could tell as I talked to them in class which one just really, really excited me and suited me well in this particular lineup. That's that heavy one out of that last class. I really like that one. Let's congratulate him. He'll be champion. I'm going to keep it moving here just because I just saw that particular class, as you all know, and so this one's fresh in my mind. You heard me talk about this steer in class, the things I appreciated in terms of his muscle and just overall power, and he suits that power of the one that was in front of him well. But really the next one in terms of correctness of finish and some show ring appeal and still being stout and muscular, the second best one for me that's just most market ready and follows that champion is going to be this young lady's here coming out of this second class. That one will be reserved. Let's give the whole works here a hand. They did a nice job.
Receiving champion market beef is Zachary Sleater, and reserve champion market beef, Faith Nay. We will now be having the market beef portion of our state fair lineup, so exhibitors be prepared to re-enter the ring if you are interested and eligible.
Take a step forward, Zach. You're good. See if you can bring my back back. We'll let you put my side back one back to the tail. Let's go, bring your other one off. Maybe that'll rock you forward. There we go. No one wanted to stand on it. But I'm going to take a picture and then I'm going to have you. Okay, touch my toe on my side back. Touch that toe. Okay, there we go. Right there. Smile. Okay, smile, Zach. Perfect. Yeah, go ahead. It's okay, babe. Just put it back. Good day. want you to try and move your back to the far side back up just a little bit.
That back leg.
Your back, move it up. Try to bring it up a little. So pull forward on your halter when you try to move his leg up. I know, it's hard on those big ones. Yeah, the last one. He's gonna come judge those roll.
Hold him right there, Faith. Perfect.
Up next, we will be having showmanship. So if you are a junior showmanship exhibitor, just be prepared.
I'm good.
Garrett, you're good.
Rangers, a friendly reminder to sign up for our livestock auction, which will be tomorrow at 1 p.m. Please sign up for that with the QR codes that are in each barn by 6 p.m. tonight, as well as sign up for your round robin if you received grand or reserve in your showmanship classes. That's also due by 6 p.m. tonight in the General 4-H entry building. Thank you.
We will now be having our junior showmanship enter the ring. The exhibitors include Tyler Cronin, Lucy Feichenberger, Jalen Flower, Bria Grimm, Easton Hufford, and Malachi Montana.
All right, the cattle are behaving pretty good, so I took a little extra time on this one. I debated on how I was going to handle this and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to discuss these, because anybody that's ever seen me judge at different shows, I like to, especially in showmanship, take an opportunity to really explain myself, explain what I'm looking for, explain what a lot of judges would be looking for in showmanship, so we can learn from it and move on. And so if I'm trying to sound extra instructional. If I come across being a little grumpy, I don't mean to by any means. I'm not telling people they're doing anything wrong. It's just preference of what I think a lot of showmanship judges are going to want to see at a lot of different shows, so you're competitive every time you go out. And I went through and talked with each one about some of those things that I like to see that you could do a little bit better. Because if you heard me in the Hawk Show this morning, this is all about education. I have an education background and did some teaching, and it always hangs with me. And I think we can always learn at no matter what level, whether it's as a junior, intermediate, senior, all the way to adults. We can always do better the next time and pick up some little things. And that's what I try to do with these kids, is pick something up to try out next time and watch others and find a way to show those animals that much better, okay? So they're doing an outstanding job out here, doing a really good job, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and pick my champion. I did this morning too. I'm gonna pick my champion, and I'm gonna go ahead and use that person as a little bit of an example. And it's not that they're that much better necessarily, it's just they're doing some things I really like that I think is important to see to help me explain what it is I like. So, with that in mind, I'm going to pick my champion showman in this particular division, and that's going to be the young lady right in front of me with the Hereford. Let's give her a big hand. She does an outstanding job. Why don't you go ahead and park your animal right here, okay? So you kids on the side, if you can just take a minute and just watch what she does a little bit that I really liked in this division. She led her animal into it with minimal amount of show stick. Now she's about done. She's aware that that tail's sticking out. And here's what I really like, okay? Her posture's excellent. Feet are together, she's standing tall and proud, she knows her heifer looks good. Obviously there's been some practice and work at home, okay? I really like her. I told her, you know what, you have a little bit of intensity to you. And she said, yeah, I do. And I said, I like that, okay? And we're gonna talk about smiling and being pleasant here in a second. I don't mind a little intensity. Anybody that's seen my daughter's show, they do the same thing. I don't mind one being intense and getting after it. But you're also smooth and you know what you're doing. So good job to you. This is what we're looking for in a showman. Posture, awareness, keeping an eye on the judge. She ties those things really, really well together. For reserve, it gets a little trickier, okay, because you're all doing a good job. My reserve is gonna be a young lady right here with this black calf. Let's give her a hand. She does a good job. And I told her that she has, and she's giggling, I said, you have a natural, really beautiful smile. You do not have to show it to me the entire time in showmanship. Okay? It's really good. And this has been coached for 40 years in showmanship. Go smile at the judge. You don't have to smile at the judge the whole time, okay? Because I joked with her, she didn't smile at me at all. She smiled. Okay. It's about that balance, and you do. You have an awesome smile, and you do a good job. I told her it's more important about getting your animal to look just like that. Do that first. Pay attention to where I'm at, which you do. And then when you know it's looking good and you look over, you can just give me a nice, pleasant smile, okay? And so I talked to the young man back there. He's kind of one of my honorable mentions. Raise your hand in the blue shirt. You do a good job. Let's give him a hand for an honorable mention. He does a nice job with his calf, did some things that we really like to see, and just needed to improve a couple of things on head placement and things. We talked about smiling a little bit with him too, and so don't get me wrong. I like having fun, I like smiling, but when it comes down to it with showmanship, it's putting together some of these things of keep an eye on the judge, get your animal straight, really keep your posture good. It's a lot to remember, but the more you show, the easier it comes. And always find those people to continue to help you and get you out in the show ring, and it gets better and better. So I'm excited to watch the next divisions. One last time for this group. Let's give them a hand for coming out. They're doing a good job.
Receiving Grand Champion Junior Showman was Jalen Flower. Receiving Reserve Champion was Lucy Feichenberger. And receiving Honorable Mention was Easton Heifer.
Hold on, Jalen.
We will now begin our intermediate showmanship. In this class we have Ella Anderson, Abigail Boone, Shay Boone, Gianna Feichenberger, Haley Manthai, Madison Manthai, Avery Moore, and Faith Nag.
Try to step, take her forward. One more step.
All right, another nice group of showmen out here. Good division of showmanship here. They're a little more advanced in their skills than the juniors, as you'd expect to see. And there's still some things we can always work on. As I said, it's you're always learning in this, no matter if you're a junior all the way up to adults showing in open shows. We can always get better and learn things. So again, at the risk of sounding, too preachy or critical, I don't mean to be that way, but I do want to talk about some things that we can certainly do. In no particular order out here, I have kind of my three that have surfaced to the top in this particular division, and they're all doing a really nice job. Take nothing away back here. You're all doing some nice things too. You really got some basics down. These three just maybe did a few things I prefer just a little better. So I'm going to mix things up a little bit than how I did it in the juniors. I'm going to still kind of comment as I go, just for the sake of learning and education and letting them know what I see. So I'm going to start with an honorable mention. I'm starting with an honorable mention here of these particular three, and then I'm going to talk about what I see there a little bit. So third is going to be this young lady right in front of us with this red calf. Let's give her a hand. Does a nice job. Does a really good job. Right now you got him set up acceptably well for me. If you want to be nitpicky, you could square up his front feet, but to me that's just fine. If I would do the same thing you're doing. I would leave him, he's giving me a good look right now, you got him set up. He's been wanting to fight you a little. He's a little sick at the end of the day. Maybe hasn't been the best partner. One thing I want to remind you to do that maybe the two on either side of you do a little bit better is you do a great job. You know where I'm at. Your intensity level's really good. Stay right about where you're standing or that way. Don't swing way out in front of him. The danger is if we swing way out in front of those animals, come this way like you did a few times in class. When you're way out there, if he suddenly lunges forward, you're going over. Okay? You're not going to stop that big old boy, right? We just want to maintain ourselves over to the side. That way if he lunges forward, you can still go with him, switch your hands. We just want to keep people safe, and that's the reason. So you do a great job. Your posture's good. Just didn't want you to cross over so much coming this way. A few other times you could have set them up a little bit quicker than the ones beside you, but you do a great job. So go ahead and you peel one out. Great job to you. Our other two are doing a fantastic job. Both of them really have some great skills. I love to see what they do. Your reserve champion is going to be the young lady here with the Dairy Prospect calf. Let's give her a hand. Really love the job she did in class. She's got a great calm demeanor about her, really calm with her calf, but yet she knows what she wants to do. She always gave me good looks at this calf, got him set up just how I wanted. I'd look, he was level, he was set up. She could have been a little bit quicker maybe than compared to my champion, but I just think you just a calm, nice, cool job. I liked your posture as well, the way you put your feet together and stood with your animal. Great job to her. Your champion down here does an outstanding job. She's really done well with her cattle all day. Let's give her a hand. Just a solid showman. Always knows where I'm at and really has good awareness. Keeps that. One thing you do extremely well, and you must work on this. Heads up nice and high. I'm going to warn you on your cow and even on this steer, don't get them too high. We don't want them to fall apart, right? You do a great job of it and you work on it, but let's just remember how the animal looks. That's being really fussy on a great job you're doing. Your cat, you always gave me good looks at your cattle. You're calm with them, you know what you're doing, so great job to you. Give the whole works a hand. They did a really nice job. Good showman in this division.
Receiving Grand Champion Intermediate Showman is Faith Nag, Reserve Champion to Abigail Boone, and Honorable Mention to Gianna Feichenberger. We will now begin our senior showmanship class. In this class, we have Brady Cronin, Summer Erickson, Kendall Evink, Jackson Hilbrands, Jaslyn Hilbrands, Gabrielle Jose, Riley Matson, Cohen Mortensen, Grace Mortensen, Mason Roloff, and Zach Slater.
excellent showmen out here. I commend this whole group. Lots of good showmen on both sides of the ring here, those over here, those over here. What I'm doing here is mixing it up a little bit. I went ahead and told the crew out back to bring all these seniors in. I don't mind putting seniors at this age in some little more adverse conditions with a big full ring. I think it's good to experience that and see how you handle yourself and your animal and awareness and knowing where to go. And so what I'm going to do right now over here, this is a good group of showmen, but the ones that suit me the best are out here next to the crowd. This group, I'm going to have you go back to the barn here in a second, and it was just little things that could have come together a little better for me, for you to still be out here in this group. Really comes down to the things I've been talking about all day, and really it comes down to just some awareness and decisiveness, just really knowing if your animal's set or good. There were a few of you in that lineup that maybe had your animal set good enough for me, but you went and poked at a foot or moved them ahead or weren't sure and then spun them back around. When you get to this level with this competition, now it becomes all about efficiency, giving me that really good impression, that really good look, and doing it quickly. That's what this group over here does extremely well. They lead them into it, they know where they're at, they keep their lines straight. The other big thing we have to remember in showmanship when we have 11 exhibitors out here is keeping a big, wide circle. Use all of the ring. That's why they gave it to us. And use that width of the ring and knowing where you're moving. And then I told, and I said it in the last division, when I pull some out, always remember to slide ahead in line when you're head to tail like this. If I pull one out, don't let that hole stay there. Keep the line moving forward for that judge. And there was a few that maybe forgot to do that as well. But what I'm going to do, let's thank this group for coming out. There's some good showmen in there, no doubt, but it's a tough group. So I'll have you go back to the barn, and I'm going to rework this group, and then we'll pick you a champion in reserve and a few others.
At this time, we'd also like to congratulate Grace Mortensen and Jaslyn Hilbrands on a long and successful 4-H career, as this will be their last county fair as 4-H members.
we're getting to the end of the day and we have our senior showmanship, and I'm glad it's pretty pleasant in here because the cattle are behaving, and I appreciate a good crowd still here watching. And if you go to any beef shows anywhere, State Fair, Junior Nationals, or any of that, I hope you can recognize this is some elite level showmanship in this class. So I'm just going to start. Give this 6 a round of applause. This is as good a showman as you'll find in any county, I promise you that. I've been fortunate enough to judge some showmanship at some junior national things, and these all 6 of these fit right in that mold and then some. It's tough. I'd gladly trade with anybody if you want to come out and pick it, because they're making it hard on me, for sure. They do a lot of things well. But I am the judge today, so I got to narrow it down and make a decision, okay? And so where I'm going to land and end up, I guess I'm going to start. I'm just going to talk about each of them because I think they deserve it. They made it this far. I'm just going to place them is what I'm honestly going to do. And I'm not done, so keep showing, okay? But I have some things in mind, so I'm going to place them from 6 on up because I think they deserve it and they do well. Young lady with the shorthorn appearing animal on that end, you're going to be 6. You do a really nice job. Let's give her a hand. I'm asking for a lot of applause, but she deserves it. Posture is excellent. Awareness is excellent. Honestly, it's your partner a little bit. He's starting to dance. It's not totally your fault. He's maybe just wanting to do a little of that right there. It's kind of unfair. I had you out in the lead, and the lead animals, sometimes they don't know what's going on out there. Why are all these people staring at me? That's kind of can be a disadvantage. You handled it well. You're a really, really good showman. If that steer just behaved a little bit better, it maybe would have surfaced. Okay? Right behind, you're going to be next. You're going to be 5th. This young man, let's give him a hand. Great job. He leads his calf into it extremely well. That shows there's been practice at home. That one's been worked on. Leads it into it, does that very well. There was a couple times where maybe just some eye contact and some decisiveness could have been a little bit better, but overall does an outstanding job, and I'm really, really glad about the job that you did. I'm going to be honest with you, this next 4, this is where it gets really tough. And I'm going to tell you some things I saw and some things, and this is really in no particular order. I'm going to do some description right on down this line, and then I'll go 4 through 1. This young lady does a great job with this steer. Gives me a great look. Her awareness is outstanding. She knows the goods and bads about that steer, and she really does some nice things. There was one thing that really impressed me, and I'm going to start talking about what I'm looking for when I have a full ring or get to the end. I have some old school stuff that I like to see. When at that last pass and go, when we pulled ahead and went out, the one in front of her stayed out in the middle of the ring and was a little ways out there. You knew the fundamentals, and you took your steer. You didn't just follow the one in front of you blindly. You knew, let's get this steer back to the outside. You use a big ring, and I noticed that. That's what you got to do. You know that. You got some experience, and you did that extremely well. Calm demeanor, always give me a good look. Doing a nice job. Young man behind her, doing an outstanding job from right away in class. Love the intensity level on yours. Great job all day, solid all the way through. Little thing I noticed, that's handpicking. Here's another old school thing that I was always taught, and I don't think it's bad. When I made that final pull and I made my line, I let the young lady with the steer on that end start the line. She gets to put her calf wherever she wants when I tell her to go over there. After that, I like you to maintain a straight line, okay? And the way you can do that is you can pull ahead, okay? And just look where that animal's front feet are and get your animal right with it. If everybody does that, I'm going to have a straight line. Our line got a little bit crooked. You stopped a little short. You were efficient. You wanted to give me a good look. You parked your heifer and got her set, which is awesome, but it got our line crooked, okay? After that, you pulled that cow in, and you did that move that I like. You peeked down and saw where the line was and pulled ahead. So my compliments to you for line awareness. I don't know if that makes sense to the crowd, but watch where whoever sets the pace and keep your hooves with that. You're going to maintain a straight line and not have an angle across the ring, because then it jams me up. So you did that well. You know your animals extremely well. Fundamentals are really, really good with you. Awareness is good. Good job all day doing some things I like. Young lady behind that, really, really calm, really good demeanor with her calf all the way through, and just does some really good things with the way she shows all day long as well. So again, it makes it tough. These last 4 really made me struggle. I had a first impression of what I wanted to do when I wanted to come out. Some of it has to do with differences of intensity level and getting after it and calmness and so on and so forth. So for me, I think I heard you announce it's one of their last years. This young lady's going to be 4th. Let's give her a round of applause. She's wrapping up her career. Outstanding job in showmanship. Did really well, super calm. There were maybe a couple times where we could have gotten that steer. You got him set up. A couple times could have maybe been just a little bit more efficient. Okay, in third is going to be a young man right behind him. Great job, outstanding job all day. Just those things I talked about before. Your intensity is awesome. There's a couple times where just, maybe get it set and then just stand still. A couple of those in here do that, but outstanding job to you. Gets down to these two, and then it gets awfully close. It's tough showing a cow. You've obviously put a lot of work into this cow. She operates with you well. Heifer behind her goes really well. Comes down to personal preference. Comes down to some things that you really see. A couple of times I think it came down to partner, and out here honestly it got razor thin for me. But it came down to a couple times when I was really moving in a hurry and wanted to look. That right there's a couple times I looked and you were checking your animal, which is awesome. I couldn't really see you, and I guess I happened to notice him because he was a little taller. It comes down to that. I thought your attention and awareness was just a shot better in this final, so you'll be champion, you'll be reserve, ultra close, really good. Again, big round of applause for this whole group. This was tough. You could flip-flop them any other way. Awesome showman, awesome job.
Receiving 6th place senior showman is Riley Matson, 5th place to Zach Sleeter, 4th place to Grace Mortensen, 3rd place to Cohen Mortensen, 2nd place to Jaslyn Hilbrands, and 1st place to Jackson Hilbrands.